This is Cashflow Ninja, episode 165, with Terry Kerr and Liz Nowlin.
Welcome to the Cashflow Ninja, the podcast empowering and inspiring people to discover how to generate their own income and manage, grow, and protect their own wealth in the new economy. Now, here is your host, MC Laubscher.
Hi there, MC Laubscher here, and welcome to another episode of the Cashflow Ninja. I have a great show for you today, and in today's show, I will be joined by Terry Kerr and Liz Nowlin from Mid-South Homebuyers, where we'll be discussing 19 fatal investor mistakes and the due diligence questions to avoid them, specifically focusing on turnkey real estate. Terry is a full-time real estate investor and the president and founder of Mid-South Homebuyers. He owns 60-plus investment properties and has provided premier turnkey investments to repeat buyers around the world since 2002. He's also the owner and founder of Mid-South Best Rentals Property Management, one of the most sought-after management companies in the Memphis area, and a key component of his turnkey real estate investment business. Best Rentals is currently managing over 1,600 properties, and Terry has done over 3,000 real estate transactions in his career. Liz Nowlin is an avid real estate investor who has spent the last 16 years of her professional life working in multiple markets as a property manager, a marketing director, a realtor, a writer, and public speaker. For the last 8, she's been working side by side with Terry Kerr, building Mid-South Homebuyers into one of the most successful turnkey providers in the United States. Terry and Liz have previously been on the Cashflow Ninja talking about the cash flow opportunity in the Memphis market. If you missed that episode, you can go back to cashflowninja.com/145 to listen to that episode. Terry has also put together the content of today's discussion in a free report, 19 fatal investor mistakes and the due diligence questions to avoid them, that can be downloaded at cashflowninja.com/Memphis. That's cashflowninja.com/Memphis. Please share your feedback and thoughts with me on today's interview. You can let me know your thoughts on Twitter by tweeting me at MC Laubscher or by email at info@cashflowninja.com. And please remember to join our mailing list by signing up at cashflowninja.com or texting Cashflow Ninja, one word, all capitalized, to 44222. That's 2 4s and 3 2s. You can support the show by becoming a patron on Patreon for $10 a month. And when you become a patron, you get access to our private Facebook page and a Cashflow Ninja t-shirt. You can become a patron by visiting cashflowninja.com/support. Have you read Rich Dad Poor Dad? Are you interested in real estate investing and don't know where to start or how to get the results you want? For valuable information to get you started, visit JoinOps Properties at joinopsproperties.com. If you're not earning at least 8% on your cash, you do not want to miss the private lending presentation for non-accredited investors done by Jimmy Freeland and Bob Scott. Discover how to create an income stream from real estate without the management headaches. You can access the presentation at cashflowninja.com/private lending. Spartan Invest have a proven plan and system helping investors creating passive income and wealth through turnkey real estate ownership in the exciting market of Birmingham, Alabama. Find out why Birmingham has got it going on, why it's a steal right now, why it's a millennial hangout, a hidden gem, and one of the most exciting investment opportunities you have never heard of. You can download your free report, 5 Big Reasons to Invest in the Magical City of Birmingham, Alabama, at cashflowninja.com/Spartan. I've spoken about the most powerful system on the planet on the show, the banking system, and my firm Valhalla Wealth Financial helps people reclaim the banking function within their own lives through leveraging the premium tools and strategies of the wealthy. If you're interested in reclaiming the banking function within your own life and the infinite banking concept, you can access a free webinar presentation at cashflowninja.com/banking be the bank.
Guys, thank you for joining me.
Oh, glad to be here.
Michael.
For the people viewing this that are not familiar with you guys, can you guys please just give us a little bit of a background of exactly what you do and how your business operates?
We've been in business for 16 years. That makes us one of, if not the oldest turnkey providers in the nation. We are completely in-house from stem to stern, which means we're buying the property, we're renovating the property, and we are the property managers. We're currently managing about 1,600 properties, have been putting out about 320, 350 houses a year. Terry?
Yeah, I'd say that's it. We've got our own in-house team that takes care of the 1,600 houses we manage. So we've got a separate renovations company that does the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing work on our rehabs that also does the maintenance on all of the houses that we manage. So we'll get into it in a little bit, but that's a big deal.
The purpose of this presentation is actually a little bit of education in the turnkey real estate business space. As Robert Kiyosaki says, knowledge is the new money, as quoted on the website at Mid-South Homebuyers. So what we're looking at tonight is 19 due diligence questions that will help you identify the best turnkey sellers. And Liz and Terry is going to share a little bit of their knowledge around this and what good questions to ask and what to look for when you're researching turnkey sellers. So the first one is, of this 19 due diligence questions is, are you the actual owner of the property or are you just marketing for someone else?
Sure. And the main reason you want to find out that question is a lot of folks out there are going to put a house under contract. They don't own the property, but they're going to put a house under contract and then they're going to market it as their own to someone else who's going to be the end buyer. And so what you really want to try to find is you want to try to find a seller that owns the property, and if possible, you want to try to find a seller that owns the property that also owns the management company that's going to manage the property after you purchase it. So after the sale, you've got all the accountability under one roof.
Yeah, there's nothing inherently wrong with, matching a buyer and a seller, and that's a fine function to perform, but there's only so much juice in the deal. And, you're inherently going to get a better deal when you're working directly with the owner of the property.
Gotcha. The second one is, I see that the property is at 123 Maple Street and is located in Memphis, Tennessee. Do you live in Memphis? And if so, how long have you been there?
That's huge. It's the biggest one. And I think Terry, even maybe more than me, can speak to how much boots on the ground and how much detail-orientedness pulling this off efficiently is from maintenance, meeting with techs and everything. And to be honest with you, some of our perspective on this comes from comparing. There's a lot of folks that hear Memphis is good and they try to do it long distance. And we see and hear, honestly, the fallout from investors that have bought from those people and then come to us when their properties are mismanaged, not renovated the way that they thought they were, and a lot of other things because folks are trying to do it from California.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's not that you can't live in California and buy houses in Memphis and rehab the houses in Memphis and sell them and provide a good value, but it's tougher. That's for sure, because as an example, we're going to buy, renovate, and sell about 380 houses this year in Memphis. And Mid-South Homebuyers doesn't go outside of Memphis to try to flip houses because I know how important it is to make sure to keep all the controls in place. Like Liz said, with the boots on the ground here in town. And, it's not that one would have to, but I'll personally walk every single property, introduce the property to my contractors, and then I'll personally see the property at the end of the renovation and do the quality control round. And so you just want to find out if the person that you're buying the house from and the person that's managing the house for you actually lives in the city that you're buying it. And I know that might sound crazy to some folks, but there's a lot of that going on out there. And again, it's not that it can't be done, but it's tougher.
And I'd like to say, and this isn't about us, and actually I want everyone to know this is applicable in any market, which is a really valuable thing, but to back up our commitment to that philosophy, that we have about a 4-month wait list for one of our properties, so we get asked to go into other markets really, really regularly by our investors and by outsiders, and obviously we could, but we feel like it would reduce the quality. And so that's how passionately we feel that you need to be in town. And also growing up. Terry grew up here and really knowing the neighborhoods and also their trends over a really long time.
Yeah, that's so important. As you mentioned, knowing the trends, and if you live in a market, you can see what's going on, where it's going, and where are opportunities. So really, really important. And that ties also into the next question. How long have you been a full-time turnkey investment provider?
Sure. Everyone sees the infomercials on get rich quick and real estate and whatnot. There's a lot of folks that have just gotten into the business and are doing a great job. However, if you're looking at investing in a market where you don't live, I believe it's in your best interest to find somebody who's been doing it for quite a while. So, this whole report that we put out on the questions to ask your turnkey seller are designed to give the buyer investor as many tools as they can to do their due diligence to find the provider that's going to serve them best. And if you can find somebody that's got more experience rather than less, that's definitely going to be in your favor.
Yeah, Terry, you would say that you almost worked for free the first 3 years you were in business, learning what and how to do it. It's not this rocket science, as experience really speaks. And from markets too low, markets too high, all of that, you just can't walk into it doing it perfectly, or it's very hard to.
Yeah.
Very, very important. And the other question is, have you ever lost any of your investment properties to foreclosure?
Oh, wow. So we wrote this report, Liz and I did, back in 2010, I believe. And that was right after the downturn and everything was kind of coming back. And there were a lot of folks out there who didn't do it right, and they lost a bunch of their properties to foreclosure because they didn't do it right. And so what you're wanting to find out is, are you buying the property from somebody who knows what they're doing, or somebody who's just sort of flying by the seat of their pants? And the more established an outfit you can find, the longer they've been in business, the better.
Yeah.
And then the next question is really important, and this is a great one. How many rentals do you personally own?
Absolutely. Well, it's like those ads you see on the internet. Buy our software; it will make you $1 million in the stock market. Well, if it does, why are you selling software? And we call it drinking our own Kool-Aid. I'm obviously an investor personally. Terry is, and if it makes people money, why wouldn't you hold on to it? It's not very complicated.
Yeah, and we meet folks who are supposedly turnkey sellers, and they're out there working hard, but they may not own the management company that's managing the property, which means they don't have leverage to make sure that their buyer is taken care of after the fact, and they may not own a bunch of properties themselves. And if not, the question is why. So again, an important question to ask.
And the next question is, I see that your business model is selling properties that are in distressed condition, promising a quality renovation after my purchase. How can I be sure the renovations will be done in a timely manner with a high level of quality and without going over budget?
This is a loaded question, obviously, but it's loaded on purpose because our phone has rang many, many times with folks wanting us to take over management of properties that they purchased from another turnkey seller, and that the project didn't turn out the way it should have. Unfortunately, we have to refuse those investors because we only manage properties that we purchase, renovate, and sell. But after hearing so many sob stories from folks who purchase a property in unrenovated condition, promised a particular rehab in a specific time frame, and seeing that the property didn't turn out the way they were told it was going to turn out, and it took much longer for the property to be renovated. In other words, they were bleeding cash flow until it was renovated, and the renovations went over budget, that cuts all into their profit margin and the return on their investment. So, again, it's a loaded question, but you just want to be careful to make sure that you don't compare apples to oranges. And when you purchase a house from someone, whether it's in Kansas City or Detroit or Memphis, if it's completely renovated and it's got a warranty and the tenant's already moved in or scheduled to move in, there are a lot less question marks.
The rent also, if you're doing that by definition, you're working with projected rents. So I see a lot of folks going rents between $800 and $850. $50 isn't a lot a month to investors. That's a huge swing to a renter.
Yeah.
And it depends on what you're running. And so that's the other thing is then the rehab finishes finally or maybe on time, what have you. And then, it looks like the rent's a little lower. So it just puts all of these variables into the spin. And I actually had an investor in town visiting recently, and he was telling me he had done the exact thing. He bought something unrenovated. It was being renovated, and it was vandalized while it was being renovated. And because he wasn't carrying vacancy insurance, which he didn't know he was supposed to be, it was completely uncovered by the property insurance, and vacancy insurance is more expensive. So just little stuff like that you have to be aware of.
Yep.
The next question is, since I can't get a 30-year mortgage on the unrenovated property you're selling, I'll have to borrow money from a private lender and then do a second closing once the property is habitable. Yep. What are the pros and cons of this type of transaction versus buying a property that is already renovated and cash flowing?
The con of buying a property that needs to be renovated and having to borrow money from a private lender, rehab the house, and then reclose on it on a permanent 30-year mortgage is that you're going to have to pay closing costs twice. The pros to doing that is there can be some tax benefits to where if you want to do accelerated depreciation, you can do it. But you're going to have a more sophisticated accountant or CPA to do that. So again, these questions were developed specifically because we've heard horror stories over and over from our buyers who've bought in other markets. And this is one that one of our favorite buyers told us we needed to put on the report.
And the next question is, what kind of guarantees do you have regarding the overall quality and depth of your renovations?
Yeah, I would say look for no less than 1 year. I see a lot of 90 days. And I guess just that's a simple and obvious. The more, the better. The longer and the deeper they're willing to do it. Not all investors realize that purchased home warranties do not really jive with rental properties. It works when you're an owner-occupant, so people don't realize that it doesn't translate as much. But if your renter does not have hot water or air in the summer or heat in the winter, there is no waiting 2 or 3 days for someone from that warranty company to get out there. You'll have a furious renter. They tend to find reasons not to want to cover thing, and that type of thing doesn't jive really outside of owner-occupant. So you want that warranty to be from either the management company or the seller, who is ideally both.
Absolutely, and it's going to be tough to find a management company that's going to give that warranty because the management company didn't sell the property. And that's why it's important, if you can, to find a seller that also owns the management company that can provide a warranty that is not a separate insurance policy. It's more of an in-house warranty. And there are also management companies out there that will provide a management warranty from a standpoint of if the property goes vacant for so long, the management company will start paying the owner the rent as of X day. And if the property is sold to the investor at the correct rent range, there shouldn't be a problem with that. So look for the warranty for the labor material on the rehab, and try to look for a rent warranty as well.
And the next question is, I've noticed that there are properties in your city selling for $80,000 with a $200 a month cash flow, and there are properties that are selling for $45,000 with the same $250 per month cash flow. What are the pros and cons of these two different types of investments?
So outside of the flat out return is going to be lower out the gate on the higher end property, right? Houses looks nationwide. I visited a lot of markets. You're working with about $300, give or take. It can go up and down a little bit, but within that range. And so obviously you're shelling out more on the down payment on the front end, but there's a lot of hidden lowering returns on the higher end property there. Say both properties are occupied for 2 years and they have 1 month of vacancy. Right off the bat, you're carrying a much bigger mortgage on the more expensive house. You're very likely maintaining a larger square footage. So your turnover, your get-ready costs between renters are going to be higher. You are very likely maintaining things like dishwashers and garage door openers and other high-end finishes that you simply don't have to put into that lower-end house. And on top of that, you have a narrower pool of renters. And then kind of finally, I did high-end property management for a very long time. And in my experience, white-collar renters move more frequently. They're way more likely to become homeowners, be transferred by their jobs, and it costs money to move flat out, and less likely to settle into a home for 5 or 6 years. In fact, I don't know any white-collar renter very much that rents for that long, whereas we see blue-collar renters staying years and years and years.
Absolutely, and I would say that if you're looking at cash flow to cash flow, like say $45,000 to $80,000, or you can extrapolate that. The higher you go as far as the purchase price, the more of an appreciating market you're going to want to be in, because the appreciating market's going to cover some of that sin.
You're listening to Terry Kerr and Liz Nowlin on the Cashflow Ninja podcast. We will be right back after a word from our sponsor.
Are you having a hard time finding great investment properties? Unfortunately, the best deals are rarely found locally. Successful investing begins with the right properties in the right markets. Norada Real Estate provides everything you need to invest in the best deals across the U.S. Our simple, proven system will help you create real wealth and passive monthly cash flow. Get your free copy of the ultimate guide to passive real estate investing at noradarealestate.com/guide. That's NORADA realestate.com/guide.
You're listening to Terry Kerr and Liz Nowlin on the Cashflow Ninja podcast, and now back to our interview.
And then what type of neighborhoods are the properties in?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's just a huge piece of information. Obviously, crime rates.
Yeah.
You can't get a good tenant into a bad neighborhood. And interestingly, you can actually kind of stealthily find out what kind of neighborhood somebody is working in by drilling deep on their tenant criteria. Because, again, you can't get a good tenant with a lot of options to live in a bad neighborhood. Questions like what percentage of owner occupants are in the neighborhood. There's a lot of pretty good crime maps out there. Terry,
and if the cash flow looks too good to be true, it can be, because if you delve down into what we call the war zone, you're working where people have to live, not where people want to live. And you can make the numbers look really good, but if you can't keep folks in the property because it's not in a decent neighborhood to live in, the property's not going to perform.
Right. And this is a very important question. Do you own the property management company that will be managing the property you're selling?
Well, you've heard me mention this before, and Liz as well, and the reality is if the property management company is owned by the same outfit that is selling the property, you're keeping the accountability all under one roof. Because then the warranty for the labor and material and the rehab and the warranty on the management is all in one spot. And if the water heater breaks 2 months after the purchase goes down, you don't have the management company pointing at the seller and the seller pointing at the management company. It's all right there. And it's probably the most important thing that I would say, regardless where someone is looking to purchase property, is try to find that seller that owns the management company. And there are quite a few of them out there.
Yeah, and there should be, presuming the seller is doing some level of renovation, which almost everyone is, there should be some synchronicity happening where the materials are cheaper as they maintain your house over the course of it because they're using the same paint, and there's a lot of synergy there, and maybe having some high-level rehab crews on hand where they're able to do maintenance a little bit cheaper than a third-party property management would.
Yep, absolutely. And another thing is if your seller is the same owner as the property management company, they've got a selfish interest as the property manager to make sure that the property performs under their management, because if it does, the buyer is going to come back and buy more properties. And there's a locks keep honest people honest kind of deal going there. But if you've just got a seller who's referring you to a property manager, it's not the same deal.
Right. And the next question, I know the quality of the property management will ultimately determine how well my property performs. Tell me what your company will do to maximize the return on my investment.
Liz?
Let's see. That's a good one for many, many reasons. Property management's where the rubber meets the road. And one thing I can always actually tell the difference, having done this for 8 years now, as far as working with Terry, is that when I'm talking with investors and they have a lot of houses, they hardly care about the house and they're talking to me about property management over and over and over again. First-time investors, without exception, are obsessed with the house and the numbers on the house, and they just assume that return presents itself infinitely. And it's really funny to see the difference in people's experience on whether they're focused on the house or on the property management.
Absolutely. And when you get down to brass tacks, it really all becomes about the renter that's living in the house. And so how well is the property management company giving good customer service to the renter? Are they calling the renter or using call fire or some method of communication when the temperature is getting down into the teens to remind them to drip their faucets? Are they sending out newsletters to remind them of this and that? Are they answering the phone when the phone rings for repairs? How communicative are they? Are they sending out birthday cards? Don't get me wrong, you don't have to do all this stuff, but if the property management company is treating the renter wonderfully, then the renter is going to want to renew their lease and stay. And is the property management company renting the property at a fair or even a better than fair rent range, encouraging lease renewals? So I could go on for days, but it really all boils down to giving the renter value.
It surely is the secret sauce, the management of this property. And it ties into the next question. I see that 123 Maple Street is rented for $725 per month. Is $725 at, above, or below market rent?
Yep. And if I may, Liz, when one is doing their due diligence on a market and you're looking for the average rent range, what it's hard to tell is what condition the property is in. So the average rent for a neighborhood might be $700, but what condition is the property in? So what a property management company should do and what an owner of an investment property should insist upon is to give some better than average value to the renter. And for us, that's doing the best renovation in town, and that's putting the property at slightly below market rents. Long story short is if the average rent is $700, but the property is in the best condition, you can rent the property for $700 a month, but you're still giving tremendous value because the property next door is renting for $700 a month and it's not in good condition versus a terrific renovation. So you just want to dive deep when you're touching base and you're interviewing these property management companies, and you want to look and see the pictures of the renovation of the properties that are being rented compared to the properties that are out there on, say, Zillow Rents, and look at those photos and really take a little bit of time and find out if the properties that are being rented are apples to apples.
Yeah, so if the house is in a better condition, it's at the same rent as the ones around it. If it's identical condition, it's rented just a little bit less.
Yep.
And what investors need to understand is that the carrot in front of most providers' noses, the more you can rent the house for, the more you can sell it for. And so what everyone leans towards, sometimes unethically and sometimes just naturally, is to rent the house for as much as they possibly can, and then you can sell it for more. But what the investor is going to actually experience is a turnover every year that's going to cost them a lot more than that extra $20 or $30 in rent was ever giving them.
Amen.
Absolutely. The next question is the property currently occupied?
Yeah, you just want to close on an occupied property for every reason in the world. It assures you that the rent is realistic. You're cash flowing from the day you close. You don't have to worry about vacancy insurance. It shouldn't be hard for someone to provide that if the product is well designed.
And if the property is not rented yet because the renovation is just kind of finishing up, there needs to be a guarantee on the back end that if the property is not rented by X date, that the management company will kick in and start paying the rent.
That's very important. That is a very great point. And the other next question that has come up in conversation is, what is your occupancy rate? Because that does tie into the operations and the property management, which is the secret sauce.
Absolutely. And I don't know what the occupancy rates are in other cities, but in Memphis and single family, the occupancy rate's around the 92% mark. And so, you want to do better than that. We see our occupancy rate every day. Ours is 98.76 today. Tomorrow it might be a tick different, but you're looking for better than average.
Yeah. And I'd find out what the average is for the city first and then compare it to what your property manager has.
Absolutely. We don't want to eat at average restaurants and be in average relationships. So we want above average and quality management and beat the average on that occupancy rate. The next question is, what is the longest vacancy currently on your books?
Yeah. I love that one. Yeah. Yep. It just should be easy to answer for them. If they start stuttering and making, this one was really unique, just more information.
Absolutely, because you want to find out why. And a lot of times, like in Memphis, the market would be, or the answer might be, it's a 2-bedroom, or we had a sewer issue. How often do you have sewer issues? Or what type of houses have sewer issues? So you just start drilling deep. And then the next question would be, to your property manager is, if you were buying a property, what's your favorite kind of property to buy and why? Because every market's different. Memphis doesn't have a lot of basements. So I'm using that as an example because some folks don't want to buy in a place with basements. Some folks want just brick. Some want hip roofs. So find out what's typical for the market and what the renters are looking for, and then try to buy that.
The next question is, do you charge application fees to potential tenants?
This is just one of the best ways to get renters in fast. I've been in property management for 16 years, and a million years ago, I was a leasing agent, and it was literally my favorite special. I worked for companies that would sometimes do half a month rent, which cost them much more. It's actually much easier to close someone if you, slide that application off, and all they have to do is do that, and it's such an enormous income stream for property management companies. And again, we're circling back to the same theme here, where a third-party property management company has to monetize these things, whereas when it's combined, to some degree, sellers can also afford to forego that. $40 or $50 an adult is a lot of people, and not charging an application fee will double the number of people that apply for your house. And it's just a bigger pool to choose from. You rent them faster to higher quality people. I've seen it in many different markets over and over again.
Absolutely. And, folks tell their friends if they moved into a place and it's off the hook and they didn't have to pay an application fee, they're going to tell their friends, they're going to tell their family, and good news travels fast. And like Liz said, if you don't, make someone pay an application fee, you're going to have a lot more people apply, and you're going to find a better quality tenant, or have the potential to find a better quality tenant and find them faster.
And I think it just reflects an owner-focused style of management that they're probably going to be taking care of you in other ways too, because for us, you doing that comes from how you managed your own houses. When you just poured thousands of dollars in blood, sweat, and tears into a house, you don't care about $40. You're thinking about, who am I going to put into my treasure that I just hammered nails into and painted? That's the last thing you're thinking about. And that's how an owner operates versus a third-party property manager that's just in the business of filling them and needs to do it. And there is a real cost to credit checks and criminal background checks. So that has to be understood. And so even though it's hard to find people that don't do any, but you want to find at least the lowest, somebody that's keeping it at least at their cost and not trying to monetize it.
Yeah.
And then the next question is, do you guys accept an aggressive breed of dogs?
Yeah. It's just a liability. I like all breeds of dogs personally, but as a landlord, we have to operate a little bit differently. It's an enormous liability. Small dogs are are fine. I have a dog. Lots of great people have dogs, but it's just liability nightmare.
Yeah, you need to check with your insurance company. But long story short is, you tenant safety first, neighbor safety first, and just be careful.
We live in a very litigious society, and it'll only become more increasingly litigious. So very, very important. And then the final question number 19, when my property has a major repair or turnover, will you send me a video of the repairs needed?
Oh, this is my favorite because we do. But most outfits will. Like I say, we wrote this report about 7 years ago, and so folks have pretty much caught on that owners of property, they want a video or they want photos. You need the before photo and you need the after photo, and so yeah, you need to demand that. And then one other thing, real quick, because I don't think it's on the report, and I used water heater as an example. Ask your turnkey seller or your property management company what they charge for, say, a water heater install. And then you can go online and find out what the average price that is charged out there for that install. I don't know what it is, but you can Google average price for repairs per market, and you can find out what that is, and you can ask your property manager to give you invoices for specific repairs. And a water heater repair is very basic. It broke, pull it out, put in a new one. And so you want to find out if the property management company is making too much money on those repairs versus what the market is.
Fantastic. Yeah, thank you so much, Liz and Terry, for sharing this really, really important information and knowledge. The report, 19 Fatal Investor Mistakes and the Due Diligence Questions to Avoid Them, will be right underneath this video. And there'll also be a link to the podcast interview done on the Cashflow Ninja podcast with Liz and Terry about their operations and the opportunity in Memphis, Tennessee. Thank you so much for doing this presentation and sharing all of this with the viewers. It's been a pleasure connecting with you.
Thank you, Michael.
You're wonderful.
This is MC Laubscher, the host of the Cashflow Ninja podcast. As you may know, I'm also the president and chief wealth strategist of Valhalla Wealth Financial. We help individuals, families, small businesses, entrepreneurs, and professionals build their wealth outside of Wall Street and help investors maximize the use of every dollar in their personal economy and boost their investment gains. We do this by combining the capital and investments with the financial vehicle of the wealthy according to the infinite banking concept. If you're interested to learn more about privatized banking and the infinite banking concept, you can access an exclusive webinar at cashflowninja.com/be the bank. Thank you for joining my guests, Terry Kerr and Liz Nowlin, and myself on the Cashflow Ninja today. If you like what you hear and appreciate what we're trying to build here at the Cashflow Ninja, please subscribe, rate, and review our show on iTunes and share our show with family, friends, and your network. I'm always trying to learn and improve in every area of my life, so if there's any way that I can provide more value to you and serve you better, please reach out to me at info@cashflowninja.com. If you're not a subscriber to the Cashflow Ninja Gashku newsletter, you can sign up for our newsletter at cashflowninja.com or text Cashflow Ninja to 44222. That's 2 4s and 3 2s. You can also support the show by becoming a patron on Patreon for $10 a month. When you become a patron for 12 months, you get access to our private Facebook page and a Cashflow Ninja t-shirt. Jimmy Freeland and Bob Scott have been in your shoes and have used real estate investing to become financially free. They've designed a system to take any beginner to an experienced deal-making investor in the least amount of time. They offer opportunities from basic education, coaching, bridge loan investing to turnkey investments in the cash-flowing market of St. Louis, Missouri. For more information, please visit joinupsproperties.com or call Jimmy and Bob at 314-799-2247. If you're not earning at least 8% on your cash, you do not want to miss the private lending presentation for non-accredited investors done by Jimmy Freeland and Bob Scott. Discover how to create an income stream from real estate without the management headaches. You can access the presentation at cashflowninja.com/private lending. Creating passive income for you and your family is easier than you think. All you need are three things: the right plan, the right product, and the right turnkey provider. As an investor, you want a safe, profitable, and convenient way to invest your capital without being at the mercy of stock market fluctuation. Investing in real estate in a turnkey way that provides monthly passive income with very low risk is exactly what Spartan Invest provides for their clients. Their mission is to make investing in real estate easy for the busy professional. Spartan Invest help investors create passive income and wealth through turnkey ownership in Birmingham, Alabama. You can download your free report, 5 Big Reasons to Invest in the Magical City of Birmingham, Alabama, at cashflowninja.com/Spartan. The wealthiest families on the planet know how to capture their wealth and then leveraging their wealth through their own banking system. If you're interested in privatized banking and the infinite banking concept and learning the premier strategies of the wealthiest individuals and families on the planet, you can access your free webinar at cashflowninja.com/be the bank. That's our show for today, everyone. Until next time, live a life of passion and purpose on your terms.
You have been listening to the Cash Flow Ninja with your host, MC Laubscher, the podcast empowering and inspiring people to discover how to generate their own income and manage, grow, and protect their own wealth in the new economy. Today's show notes and resources are available on our website, cashflowninja.com. This presentation is for educational and informational purposes only. The information being presented and considered does not consider your particular financial objectives or situation, and it does not make personalized recommendations. This material is not intended to replace the advice of a qualified tax and legal advisor or other qualified professionals, and you should not use the information in place of a customized consultation with a licensed professional regarding your specific personal financial objective, situation, and needs. We believe the information provided is reliable, but we do not guarantee its accuracy, timeliness, or completeness.